What's going on? Happy Saturday. We are back for another little, I guess, review of a book. This is going to be the Dungeon Master's Guide of the 5e version. It's pretty good. Especially if you're trying to dabble into becoming a Dungeon Master yourself, I think this book is going to be a very good outline for you. Um, Again, it is divided into three parts. Um, you have the part one. Just going to go over some of the scope of things for you. It'll explain gods a little bit more in depth and a pantheon of gods from you to choose from. I think it also mentions like Greek gods, Egyptian gods, and Roman gods outside of the context of the D&D like main fantasy world of Faerun. Um, it'll kind of outline settlements, mapping out. It'll give you a general overview of how to map out a campaign. I wouldn't take this directly because I think as a D&D like dungeon master, you should be trying to create something within a universe, but from your own context. You know what I mean? Like you shouldn't redundantly take things from some author. I think you should make your own shit. But uh, it goes into factions and organizations. I thought that was really useful. It'll explain different languages and dialects into a little bit more in-depth view. Uh, let's see, what else do we? Yeah, I mean that's really it. It'll Tiers of Play. I don't even know what that is. Let's see, page 36. Oh, okay. So it kind of outlines how things could be implemented depending on the level system of your character. It's pretty cool. Let's go back to the front page here. Oh, I went over. Okay. And then, yeah, so creating adventures will be on your part two list. Um, yeah, structure how things could work. I think it even adds a random multiplier for you if you wanted to base it off of some certain rules, if you didn't want to make one on your own. Um, then chapter 4 goes into designation of NPCs, how NPCs can affect the campaign, what type of NPC you're creating. It goes into depth with contracts, hirelings, which are people that you can hire to adventure with you, extras, and then it helps you map out and kind of create villains. And I want to note here on page 96, it says villainous class options on it, right? And it introduces the Death Domain Cleric. It'll introduce the Paladin Oathbreaker as well. I think those are the only two. Yeah, those are the only two. But I want you to keep in mind that the Death Domain subclass of a cleric and the Paladin Oathbreaker in a lot of D&D fantasy worlds have been implemented by the players themselves. So hypothetically speaking, if you were okay, let me explain. Uh, a Oathbreaker Paladin, for instance. Let's say you go off as a Vengeance Paladin, and your oath, your sworn oath of loyalty, which is the designating factor of why you have those holy magic abilities, um, is to protect and to get rid of evil in regards to the greater good, right? That's the general outline of like you're a good guy. You're here to bestow vengeance on your enemies. If you break your oath, let's say you take in a deal or a bargain with an archdevil in exchange for this, or you do something that goes against your oath, you would potentially become an oath breaker, and then some of your spells and some of the fundamentals of your class will dynamically change. You could become more of a like a Death Knight type character based on the fact that you made a mistake or the fact that the holy aura resonating throughout your being has been dispelled or broken, which is what that kind of goes over there. Let me go back to page 1 real quick. So Next thing that you would want to look at, um, what did we not cover? So yeah, it goes into a little bit more of dungeon mapping, um, wilderness survival, how the wilderness will work and interaction with the characters. Um, I guess it explains diseases, potions, madness, and experience points in a little bit more depth. It has more dynamic play with social interaction, um, using ability scores. That's interesting. But I think that's already kind of explained. Maybe it's in more depth explained into this book as well. Let me take a look at that. But it maps out some treasure for you on page 133. I want to check that out with you real quick. Yeah, see? It has, you can roll a d12 to get a random gemstone. That way it's completely randomized. You don't even know what the players are going to be acquiring. You would roll for it while they're going through the adventure, and then you would say, oh, it is a obsidian, opaque black gemstone. Um, Good example of this. You can also roll for literally every single item you can think of, and it'll go into these things with you. Magical items. It just goes down a list. It even shows you some cool little artwork in there for random things here. A bag of devouring, or maybe you want a bag of holding. You want a magical item that'll hold, like, well, is there a limit of a bag of holding? Bag of holding has an interior space considerably larger than its outside dimensions, roughly 2 feet in diameter, and at the mouth and 4 feet deep. The bag can hold up to 500 pounds, not exceeding a volume of 64 cubic weight. The bag weighs 15 pounds on its own. You know how useful a bag of holding will be for an adventure? Just for a fucking, like, you just want to put a bunch of crap in there and sell it later on to some type of vendor or a blacksmith? Everyone needs a fucking bag of holding. You just be throwing bag of holdings out there in your campaign. But yeah, anyway, this book is really great for a dungeon master because it'll go in more depth with some of these items, and the artwork is in every page. It's beautiful. It gives you context. It gives you more of an understanding. Um, it goes on and on with different things that have an effect and an alteration to the possible game that you play with your buddies. I'm just scrolling through random pages, but you see all of that? I mean, that's freaking incredible. I want to touch up a little bit on gods before I head out of here, because I think this book is pretty damn well informed on its own. Oh, it also has planes. It'll explain Feywild. It'll explain the Shadowfell, inner planes, outer planes. These are all different dimensions of existence and reality of the adventure itself. Um, so yeah, the astral plane is amazing. I mean, that's where Githyanki are from. That's where you get mind flayers. You get a lot of crazy shit. Shadowfell is from where it's the world of vampires and werewolves. I mean, no, I don't think it's the world of werewolves. It could be. I think it is. But it's the world of vampires for sure, and it's the world that has ghosts and other crazy things. It's a dimension, it's like a pocket dimension between dimensions where they put away uh, abominations to existence. People that didn't belong in. It's like purgatory. Just, yeah, it's fucking purgatory. It's a place where people don't belong. Like, they don't belong in existence of reality, the fabric of reality. So they put them there, and they're undying, so they're kind of stuck there in a sense. And hmm. Yeah, campaign tracking, reoccurring expenses, downtime activities. It goes over everything that you would generally need. You can even create your own monster in this. Look at that. Creating a spell, you could create a magic item. You can create shit out of nothing. Um, So this is a perfect outline for somebody that's trying to become a dungeon master. If you're trying to get in there and try to tell a story with your buddies, this is the perfect way to start, I think. Honestly, I give this book uh, kind of, I mean, it's not a must-have, but if you're a dungeon master, I feel like you should get it. If you're just a player, I would stick with the player's handbook, but this is cool territory here. I really like what they did with this book. Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe when you get a chance. I've got all day. I'm still waiting on you, buddy. All right, I'll catch you later.